Welcome to another episode of Dave's Imaginations. Today we're going to do steps 10 through 20 in our build of the Mostarle Cyberpunk Plasma Spider. Steps 10 through 20. As I've been doing these videos, I go watch and rewatch, and I've been trying to make notes where, as I build it the first time through, these are recording as I build it the first time through, all the mistakes and everything. But when I went back and edited, I tried to put notes above where I've made corrections. So make sure you don't just listen, but also watch and look for those notes in the video, such that you can know that I made a correction. Before then, I do try to summarize some tips and revelations. Let's look at those now. A touch of Elmer's glue can hold tiny washers in place. This was most relevant in steps 10 and 11. Those sub-assemblies of 10 and 11, they don't pivot flat. And here I'll show you, I got another view of what I mean. These purpley pieces, they're kind of in an angle. In the image, it makes you think they should lay flat. They don't lay flat. But to lay them, get them to lay just a little bit flatter, I did end up swapping out the bolt that suggested was this SC2-20. I replaced that with the SC2-18. Now that meant that in the later step 37, that this SC2-18 that it calls for, I swapped back out with the S2-20 to use a little bit longer one in that later step, and it seemed to work just fine. Later on, in step 20, it calls for you to attach some springs. Now, these springs, I got very frustrated because those springs are way too long, but I didn't realize that you're supposed to arch those springs up. So, and it's a decorative piece, and it looks great when it's arched up. Looking at other people's assembled product, yes, arch those up. It looks much better than mine, because I ended up cutting mine flat so that they'd fit a little bit closer, which was not correct. I should have left them long and just pinched them together so that they'd bend, right? And that would have been the better way to do it. So now on with our build, steps 10 through 20. Let's look at step 10. This is H1. This is H2. I think it's going to go something like that. SC-18. Looks like it goes here. SC-20. Looks like it goes there. W4. 18 goes there. 20 goes there. CP and SP. CP, I'm going to need two of them. And SP, the smaller washer, just need one of those. M2, the tiny little washers, looks like we need two of those. Although looking ahead to 11, looks like I might be doing this all again. I think I'm going to leave the M2.5 in the box. They're very similar to the M2. So let's do this first part, this first joint here. This is the SC2-18. Looks like it goes through the first hole. You add in a CP. You put the piece in like thusly. But there's supposed to be a small washer on the other side. Interesting that they have a small washer on one side and a big washer on the other side. This is a little bit of feat of dexterity. We want the big washer. We want the piece. But now we need a small washer on the other side. It's pretty tight. This is giving me a little bit of fit. Have I got it oriented correctly? Seems like it. It was like that. Alright. We want the smaller of the two bolts. But first, do they even fit? So there's the bigger one slides on that side. And the smaller one slides in on that side. I do wonder if a magnet would help or hurt. A little something sticky might be nice. There, I got it. It's through at least. Finally, wow, that is tight. I think that will tighten up as we screw it on. M2 looks like a bolt that will bolt on like so. It does bolt on. It doesn't just slide on. So now we can screw that on a little bit tighter. It's pretty tight. Maybe I should have kept that looser. I don't know. That was the shorter bolt. Now let's do the longer bolt on the other side. Hopefully this doesn't fight us as bad. So here's where we need that M2.5. The longer bolt, the SC2-20, 20 millimeter bolt. 20 millimeters, but the 2.5 does just slide on, so that doesn't screw on. And then I need the bigger bolt. The bigger washer goes on and through the mechanism, so that works pretty good. Just to line it up before putting in the bolt and then slide the bolt through. I don't see another washer on the other side of this one. Just the bolt on the other side to tighten it up. All right, let's tighten that up. Okay, that's how mine looks. Well, hopefully that's right. So seems to look like the picture. So that was steps 10. Looks like we're going to repeat that for step 11 or something very similar. So again, let's start by pulling out the H1 and H2 and the W4. That's H1, H2, 4 looks like it just sits in, just like the other one. It sits right there. And then 18 millimeter bolt connects the two purpley parts. And you need a big bolt, a big washer and a small washer, and an M2 to connect them all together. You need the small bolt, the M2 bolt. Now the tricky part, oriented just the same. I'm gonna take these out again, make sure I got the right bolts. So over time, the screwdriver did magnetize itself. Let's try a piece. The big bolt is toward me. Try to drop that in. Small bolt goes opposite me. Try to drop that in. All right, let's see if we can start working this bolt through. Got those lined up. There, got it through. Faster that time. Okay, now we can put that bolt on the end. It's on there. So let's tighten that guy up. That's how it looks in the picture. I think so. Somebody's going to be laughing at me saying, oh, you had to do this 2 more times. We'll see. All right. Got that pretty tight. Now for the W4. Set that in there. And then it looks like I don't think I need another small bolt there. Slide in a 2.5, M2.5 onto the longer of the bolts. I need an SC-20. Let's get an SC-20, 20 millimeter bolt out. 20 millimeter bolt, and let's put a nut on there, M2.5 nut, slides right on, goes through the 2 parts. Oh, I need a CP bolt in between there. All right, let's get this bolt on here. All right, pretty tight. All right, so that is 11. How is it different? Looking at these 2 pieces, so you can see they have the bolts. They're just reflections of each other. That's all they are. This looks like 11. If I look here at this bolt that's on the outside, that looks like 11. I'm sorry, that looks like 10. This looks like 11. I guess we're on 12. Okay, in this segment, I hope to get steps 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 done. Starting with step 12, we're going to take the SC2-16, the C11, the M2.5, and the S2, and we're going to start assembling this guy. So I'm going to start with, it looks like we're going to start with the C11s, which are these eye eye things. And it looks like they go opposite. We're going to take a bolt, the SC2-16, put the bolt, and slide it in like so. We're going to take two of these. Looks like we're going to take two of these M2.5s. Two of these guys. And slide them on. Put a bolt. Put the eye thing opposite. And we're going to cap it off with the S2. That all on there. See if we can get this bolt on there. You got it started. Now we can try to grab it with the pliers. I do wonder if there's a better solution than the pliers for holding that nut. I don't know if a little hex wrench would do it, or if a little box wrench might do it. Box wrench would probably get loose too easy. Now, I have it so they're opposite. Is that the way they have it? It is the way they have it. Because in the very next step, step 13, takes this and the one with, no, it's the one opposite, the side with the screw head, and you fold the eye hook away from the screw head about 90 degrees. Alright, that seems like about 90 degrees. Alright, so it looks like that. Hopefully you can see that. Alright, there's the two parts. You can see they're identical. Now we're on to step 14. All these are 14, 15 are mirrors of each other, so each of these we're going to need double of everything. So this is the S2. We need two of those guys, two of those bad boys, not three. SP. We need two of those, so we'll get out four of those. We need those for the next step too. And the M2.5s. We need one of those for each, so we'll get two of those out. M25. P1s. We need two of those. We need the SC-10, the 10 millimeter bolt. We'll get two of those guys out. Let's put these, I think these are more like mandibles than claws. These mandibles. So we have our sub-assembly with the bolt kind of leaning that way to match the picture. Take the bolt SP and take one of the washers, slide it on, slide on the piece, slide on a bolt. These are loose bolts. Slide on the mandible so it points down. Slide on another bolt and cap it all off with a bolt. Slide on another washer. Alright, got the nut started. Let's grab it with the pliers. A lot of those bolts have a little wax in them. I think that's supposed to give them kind of a lock washer-esque sense to them. I like to make them pretty tight because I don't want to have to come back and tighten all these later, and I don't think I'll really have access to the parts later. So I like to make them pretty darn tight. So I think that this is step 14. This is the one for 14, and hopefully you can see that, how it works, what it looks like. So I have the bolt on the same side as the eye. That seems to match. That seems to match picture. I think the next one is going to be the mirror of it. So let's do this again with the other one and see if we can get the mirror of it going. So we have our bolt, we have a washer, we have the piece. We have the piece trying to orient it like the picture. We have the piece something like that, A bolt, a loose bolt for decoration or spacer. The other claw, the mandible pointing down. Other washer And we try to cap it with the end nut. Now once you get it started, I can grab it with my pliers pretty tight. All right, I think those are mirrors of each other. So that's what it looks like for step 15. All right, and putting them both together, they're kind of reflections of each other because I think they're going to go like this as we put them on, and you'll have those two claws, the two mandibles coming out. Something like that. Because in 16, we put them together. We join them together. So, all right, there's only one of these W5s in the bag. So there's the W5. Looks like in the picture they have it that way. And we need SC-6. We need one of those. S2, need one of those. And SP. That's the small spacer. SP, just one of those. Alright, let's try to piece this thing together. Just orient it kind of like the picture. There you have the washer. We put the washer on the bolt. We take it through the left side. We take it through the right side. We try to put it through the bottom one of those. So it looks kind of like that. You need to slide that nut onto that bolt. Soften the nut up a little bit before I did it. Let's just screw it on there to break the wax. Hopefully that will let it spin on a little bit easier. This one is really fighting me. If it was easy, it wouldn't be rewarding. Can I grab it with my pliers? Is that a better way to do it? Do I have it? Do I have it enough? Here, I'm screwing left-handed because I don't want to mess with it. I finally grabbed it. Wow, there's no joke, guys. That was not easy. With my big fingers, that was. They do say this is difficult, and that part, for me, that was difficult. Yeah, if this fell apart, I'd probably cry at this point. I think that looks right. That's the bolt that fought me, right? Right there. Right there. You can see that bolt is the one that fought. Getting that on top of there to get it started was not easy. But I think I've got it right. As it angled like the picture, it looks something like this. Something like that. Okay. Whew. That was steps 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so steps 17 and 18 look to be assembling the mandibles to the front of the creature. So let's see if we can do this. And so we need one of the 18, two of the SP. Those are your smaller washers. Two of the SP, one B1. Good thing because there's only one. One B2. CP, we need two of the CP. That's a larger washer. One of the C3. It's a cylinder thing. Just one of these guys. And then the S2. Just one. Looks like they have it this way and this way. Alright, if we start with this, which of the holes in that assembly do they put it through? Looks like they might put it through the middle one. Kind of looks like I'm going to go with the very middle hole. Right? I think it's going in the middle hole of this guy. So I think it's going through here like thusly. Then you have two SPs. Those are the smaller washers. This is going to be a challenge because two of the SPs. How do you hold that bolt? All right, like that. All right. Be nice if I could just balance this on here like that. Okay, we'll see. We'll see if that works. I got my screwdriver in my hand. All right, so then we take this guy. This is hard to see. Oriented. Now, are these three sides, this triangular thing, looks like all three sides are the same. It looks like we have it like this in the picture. Then you take a side like this. Wow. A side like that. Wow. A spacer. It's not the spacer. The spacer's way over here. That is a lot to stack together. Alright, I got the spacer. Then I put a washer. This is the bigger washer. Then a CP. Then another CP. And now for the fun part. The bolt. The dreaded bolt. Because the challenge of this is that we have so many parts. So many loose parts. Things fall off. There's a lot of weight to these individual parts. And if I could temporarily get them to set while I try to figure out the rest of it, it would be handy. This is extremely challenging. They said it was, and it is. Right, I got it through each of those. We have the spacer. See, these tiny parts I keep dropping. Grab the nut. Screw the bolt. And hope as I tighten it up that things are oriented in the right way. Things are starting to tighten up, so we're going to double check. I think that's what it's supposed to look like. It's really hard to tell. I think that is what it's supposed to look like. Alright, so I put the bolt through the middle bolt of the bracket, and I got these guys at 45 degrees off of it. It doesn't look like 45 degrees in the picture. It looks like it should be straight up and down, but I don't know how that's possible. And I don't know if it's really what it's intending to do anyway. Alright, so that's how I have it looking right now. So looking at the final picture, it kind of looks like I might be okay. That comes off at an angle. So if that's correct, it doesn't look correct in that picture. Boy, does it not look right in that picture. And that was not easy. Makes me wonder if the bolts on these were the wrong ones. It looks too big. It looks like those should have been the smaller bolts on the purpley one so that I could slide down just a little bit. That would be a pain to fix, to take that bolt out. Going on to 18. Alright, we need one of the SC2 20. We need one 20-inch bolt. 20 millimeters. 20 inch would be pretty long. One 12-millimeter bolt. An M2, two M2s, three 2.5s. And I think these become easier to notice because the 2.5s, they just slide on and rattle away. Three of the 2.5s, M2.5s. Two of the D5, which are the only two we got. One of the S2, that's going to be the capping bolt. Two of the CPs. One of the C8. And one of the H3, which is the only one we got. And I think this is kind of the spidery face of the plasma spider. H3. I think we were going to start with the bigger one. You have your bolt. I'm going to put two of those 2.5s on there. They just kind of slide on. A D5. I think this is a D5. Some more angles of this would be nice. So it says to slide it through, but to do that, you have, alright, so that's that piece. On the lower one, we put an M2 on the C2, SC2-12, and that one you actually have to screw on. I'm on step 18, and it kind of looks like the face of the spider. Alright, so we just, on the SC2-12, I just screwed a M2 all the way on. Alright, it looks like we got two pieces here. Where's this bracket go? I'm thinking it goes like this, and this wheel sits here like that. I'm thinking, is it outside that? Looks like it must be. So I think we can do this lower assembly first with a smaller bolt. I think it goes up here. I think it goes up there. So we're gonna there's no washer in there, right? It doesn't look like there's a washer. And we have an S2, and then the M2 is that. Okay, so I think it's going to go like this, the S2, little cap bolt, wax bolt. Okay, I got it started. I kind of wish they would have broke that up into two separate steps so that you could see that they were different and how the orientation of which hole it goes in. Because I am not 100% confident that is correct. All right, here you can kind of see how I did it. And we'll see. Because I don't think that goes through a hole of the other bracket. Tighten that down. I like things to be tight. Because I am not confident. Alright. This larger assembly, I'm going to put it in the top hole of that bracket. It is hard to tell which hole in that bracket it's supposed to go into, but I think it's supposed to go this assembly. I'm going to put through the top hole of that bracket. That's how I'm going to do it. And we'll see what happens. Yeah, there's supposed to be a washer on either side. You see, I knew it couldn't be that easy. All right. This is going to be impossible to juggle. And I'm thinking a little piece of just Elmer's glue, a little touch of Elmer's glue might solve our problem. Okay, my plan is because I have to juggle these things as I put it together. And this piece needs a washer, the CP, I believe it is, CP washer on either side of it. And to do that, I don't see how I can do it. So I am going to touch a piece of Elmer's glue and try to get this on there and just glue it on to help me balance it. So, and to do that, I'm just going to use some of this clear Elmer's glue. What is this called? Washable clear glue. Just something to hold it temporarily. It's not going to be long. And I'm just going to put a little, and I'm going to put it on a little toothpick. Right? And I'm going to touch the space. And who knows, maybe if I like this technique, I will use it more often. So then I will put the washer right where I want. All right. Do the other side. Make it a little tacky. That's all it's doing. Just make it a little tacky. Wouldn't be the first time I've been accused of being tacky. All right. Give that 30 seconds to set up just a little bit. All right, now let's see if we can poke that bolt through. Right through it goes. All right, so that might be a technique. Put that through. Then M2.5, that's the bigger bolt. Sits down in there. And then the end capping M2. Switch fingers and try to. Can't really put a bolt on it in that space. Maybe I can pinch it with that. Can't pinch it with this ply. Alright, that's kind of giving the spider its face. I hope that's supposed to be loose. It is loose. The little headpiece. So that's how mine ended up looking. I still think that these purpley pieces probably should come down more. But that's how mine looks. See that? So that's step 18. Okay, we're on to steps 19 and 20. 19 and 20, let's tackle those. So we're going to do, we have SC20. We need 2 of those. We need 2 of the 2.5s. H1. Just one of these guys. We need 1 CP, larger washer. W4 and C4. And then the S2. 2 of the S2. Let's piece this thing together. So, orient it kind of like the picture. We have a front side and a back side. So, the front side doesn't have any bolts. The back side does. The back side has. So while we work on the front side, maybe we'll touch this. Let's use that glue technique, right, and get that set into position. Just a touch of glue. Maybe I should have put it on. First of all, can I pick it up with this way? I'd rather get that on my... Let's put that right. Let's get that positioned right where we want it. Yeah, so let's just touch of Elmer's glue, set that right in there. Let that glue, because this piece is going to sit right on top of that, right in there, like this. Might need to pinch that in just a little. Can I pinch that in? Let's pinch that in just a little. Pinch that in just a little. Get that work in there. Yeah, it'll be just like that. All right. Well, that glue sets. All right, let's do the front side of that. So this is the 20. Oh, they're both 20s, right? So there's no screwing that up. There's no messing with that. And then we put the 2.5, which is the larger bolt. It should slide, just slides right on. Now you have the cylinder with the double eyelets. Push that right through. All right. And then you just cap it off with one of those S2s. Easy peasy, right? Grab that with your wrench. And let's tighten that guy up. All right. Even tight this eyelet, these 2-hole eyelets, is still loose because I have that pulled pretty tight. All right, this other part, same sequence. You have a bolt, nut, the loose nut. All right, now hopefully we can fish that through. That went through. We'll cap it off with this little nut, wax nut. Even pretty tight. That one did tighten up a little bit. Okay, that is step 19. That is step 19. So it kind of looks like that in the end. Kind of like the picture. There's this as it's assembled in the picture. And then the back side. All right, and I think we use this piece in the next piece. No, we do another piece entirely. Okay, so 20. Let's look at 20. So let's pull these out. So the 25, we need 2 of these guys. C9s, looks like we need 4 of those. T2, 2 springs. The only 2 we got. SP times 4. So this is a smaller washer. 4 of the smaller washers. 1 of the bigger washer. H1. M3. 2 of the M3. 1 of the C5. 1 of the W4. And 2 of the S2s. Okay, let's start piecing this thing together. Looks like it should go like that. This is going to go here. The bottom one looks like the easier one, so let's do that. So we're going to take the bolt, the C9, the spring, the smaller washer, SP, a loose bolt, slide it through, a spacer. What is that? The C5 and the 2 M3s. Let's glue those 3 together. Just a little touch of Elmer's glue. The problem is every time I need to do that, I don't have the patience. So that toothpick is a good diameter to make sure the holes are lined up. Maybe while that sets, I'm going to glue that CP to the W4. That's the CP is the larger washer. I'm going to glue that right there, right there. While that's doing that, the upper spring is just like the lower spring. The spring seems entirely too long. T2. All right, that seems to be a problem. The T2 spring is way too long. So if you look at this picture, you can see that the spring is supposed to easily fit between those 2 bolts. Well, before I even assemble it, you can see very clearly is not anywhere near the size of that. Anywhere near. I checked, double checked that it is the T2, and it's just too long. Well, that might put a kibosh on this project for a while. Well, that's too bad. I think I have to stop the video here and research this more and figure out what's going on. I don't know if I'm going to try to call send an email to the company or what. So, or just, I've seen springs like this at Menards. Can I just go buy one? They wouldn't be expensive. So I'll give that a chance. I'll measure out these springs and see what I can find. And hopefully I can find a replacement. All right. So for now, I guess take care. And that was steps. I'm on step 20. That's where the T2 springs come into play. And for my kit, it seems that those T2 springs are just, I don't know, 5 millimeters, at least 5 millimeters too long. So that's too bad. Okay. I am on step 20. And in step 20, you're doing adding the decorative springs to this purpley piece, the piece that you put together in step 19. The problem is when you take this piece and you measure the holes, you can see from the inside diameter of the holes to the inside of the other one, it's about 15 millimeters. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. It's about 15 millimeters. But the spring is 20 millimeters. All right, so to fix that, I cut off the spring. I shouldn't have to do that, but I cut off the spring. So I took the spring, I lined it up, and I hit the spring with a Sharpie right at 15 millimeters. Gave myself some space, and then I used the pliers they gave me, and I split it right near that. And this wasn't necessarily easy, and hopefully I haven't boogered up the whole project now by doing this. You can starting to do it. I'm trying to grab just one of those springs so I can cut it off. This is a little tight, so you squeeze real hard and kind of twist it back and forth, and then until it comes off, right? And then we should be able to take one of those and stand it up, which is what I did with the other side, all right? Which is exactly what I did here, all right? Now I should be able to finish this piecing this together. So I'm on step 20. Step 20, and you might remember previously I glued those. Gave it me a nice long time to have that glue set up. So now I can slide that shaft through the spring. I have my washers, my bolts going through. All right, to the other side, push both washers. There, I got my bolts. All right, now for the other side. It's not perfect because I cut it off just a little too long. It'd be hard to get it perfect. All right, and we need a washer on the other side. See, this is still too long. Because that spring, oh no, it doesn't picture it that way. It is kind of spacing out that spring. All right. I will concede that. So maybe I'm not too long. I got my washers on there. Then we have the other two end caps. Pointing in. All right. And get that started. Yay. What are these? The S2s. Yeah. That give me fits. Get it started. All right. Now we can grab that. I forgot to add the spring. Add the spring. Add the ugly part of the spring first. Add the nicer part of the spring. Then add the, I don't know, what do you call that? All right, let's put the cap on there. I think that's what we got for now. It is reasonably similar to the book. So I had to cut off the spring. I cut it off too long, which is a good thing because then I could cut it off again if I wanted to. I hate for it to be too short, and really shouldn't have had to do it at all. The springs, in my opinion, were wrong, but that is step 20. We'll call that step 20. Now, with the end of step 20, next session, our third set of videos, we're going to do steps 21 through 28, and there are some hard steps in there, so you'll look forward to that. If these steps 10 through 20, if you found any revelations or if you can relate to anything that I went through, please leave it down in the comments. I would really appreciate it. I would feel better knowing there's other people out there that struggle with this build. It is difficult, and any comments and any information that you can help other viewers with would certainly help them. This project is certainly hard enough. We could all use help doing it. So I appreciate you watching. If you don't mind, take the time to like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Otherwise, next time, steps 21 through 28. Until then, take care.